Hello, I am Catherine Rodman, and this is my end of internship reflection. So, this semester concludes my first semester as an intern with the ASU program and my fourth year of teaching. I have been teaching fourth grade for 2 years now, crazy, last 2 years, and it's my fourth year at Papago. Previously, I taught in third grade. My mentor principal this semester is Jeff Geyer, who has been the principal of Papago School for the last 13 years and has been in the district in various educational roles for the last 23 years. So highlights from my internship, I got to participate in right from the beginning training as a trainer. So I received training that I got to take back and use in professional learning communities and hopefully next year in some whole group professional developments. I felt like I learned a lot as a teacher and also learned a lot of things that I can use looking for as an administrator, as well as becoming familiar with a great program that I hope to be able to use in the future. Another highlight were the 2 different days I got to shadow my principal. The first day was a teacher work day when students were doing asynchronous learning. It was right before we came back to school, so I shadowed him through a district leadership meeting and a site leadership meeting, trying to prepare those last things before kids came back to campus, which was really exciting. I also enjoyed a second day just doing a typical Friday. My principal has said that Fridays are usually light on his calendar, but he gets pulled into various things. So we had regular meetings and called people about jobs and met with a student who was struggling with behavior and just kind of got a good survey of the day-to-day life of a principal. The third highlight I had was being able to lead the nomination collection process for our district awards. So our district nominates teachers and support staff and administrators every year for awards, and each site is in charge of nominating those. And so I got to lead that process, which was really fun to get to read what my colleagues said about each other, and also was good practice in sending out whole staff emails and reminders and making sure that people got back to me with the information needed. So that was a really good mini project for me. And the last thing that I just really enjoyed was kind of getting to see behind the curtain this semester. I got to kind of live with one foot in the teacher world and one foot in the administrator world. So I kind of knew the ins and outs of what was going on, but I was kind of still hands off, so I wasn't in charge of it, but I was part of it. And so that was a really cool opportunity to see sometimes how complicated decisions are when they're presented to the staff. It might be like, oh, well, how did you come up with this? And you don't get to know all the ins and outs. But I got to be part of the process, which I felt was really interesting, gave me a lot more empathy for administrators, and made me really think that all teachers, regardless of their leadership goals, should take at least one admin class just so that they know how much more complicated it is than some people think. So some areas of growth, I admit when I did the first evaluation, I was really overwhelmed. I was like, I have ones in all of these because I've just never done them. So it was difficult to pick an area of growth because I feel like I grew in a lot of them, but I picked standard 6.1 and 5.3. So standard 6.1 is recruiting, hiring, supporting, developing, and retaining effective and caring teachers. So I got to be part of several interviews, and interviews that I couldn't be a part of, I was still part of the behind the scenes talk of, okay, how many positions do we have open? Who wants to slide? Is that a good choice for this teacher to move to another grade level, or should they stay where they are? And how do we adequately balance the teams to make sure that this team is not hiring all new people on the team? So I really felt like I got to see firsthand what it's like to manage staff turnover and a lot of the logistical planning that goes into that, especially when no one is necessarily resigned, but people want to move, and how that you have to manage that domino effect so that it's not, hey, we have a third grade opening. Well, it's like, well, we might have a third grade opening, but only if this person moves to there and this person moves to here, and trying to balance all of that before just announcing to everyone, you know, these are the positions, because sometimes it's only 1 or 2 positions and that creates a sliding scale of a lot of people. The other area where I felt like I grew a lot was in Standard 5.3, which is promoting adult-student, student-peer, and school community relationships. This semester, got to be part of our admin dismissal team. So usually the teachers are supporting with kids getting picked up in the car rider area or in the walker area, but I and a couple other leaders are having the walkie-talkies, and we're directing kids and putting people in cars and talking to parents. And that was really intimidating at first when I started that, but I felt like already on campus I know so many more students because of doing like the whole group dismissal like that. And when I see kids on campus, then I can recognize them by name, and I can praise their behavior if they're doing a great job following our school expectations, and redirect them if they're not following the school expectations, because now I have a better picture of the school instead of just knowing my students. Similar to this, I got to be the Azella proctor for a grade level that didn't have a testing representative, and so I was getting to kind of protect those teachers' time, let them stay in their classroom with their students, and then I got to get the opportunity of giving, proctoring a test that I'd never done before, and also supporting those students and walking around campus and just checking in with different teachers and students when that was over, so that I could kind of practice what it was like to be moving around on campus during a day and not just in my classroom. So that was a lot of work, but a lot of fun. Areas where I think I need to grow, Standard 6.4 is delivering actionable feedback. I did some walkthroughs, but I didn't really give feedback, just kind of said, thanks so much for letting me come, because I wasn't really sure what level of feedback I could give that wouldn't sound trite coming from somebody who had less experience than these teachers. And because of COVID this year, we did not do formal observations, so I did not get to be part of that formal observation process. So that's part of my goals for next semester, is once those come back, to really work on giving feedback to teachers and to participate in observations. The other one is 9.4, serving as responsible, ethical, and accountable stewards of the school's monetary funds and resources. The very end of the year, we just started discussing what to do with our COVID ESSER funds, and I did not get to be part of those conversations just because there was a lot of other things going on, and so and I didn't really spend a lot of time this semester talking about budget or finances or anything like that, so that's definitely an area where I need to grow. And then that's both of them. So for next semester, I really want to get to lead one of our subcommittees. We are a PBIS school, Positive Behavior Intervention Systems, and we have lots of subcommittees that tackle different areas on campus, and I would like to lead one of those. I would also like to take that professional development I received as a trainer right from the beginning and present that to the staff. I want to work more closely with our support staff and get to know some of them better. I would like to learn more about the financial side of school leadership, like I said, and I would really like to participate and lead walkthroughs and observations so that I can really practice those skills with real people instead of just role-playing on a screen, which is what I've had to do for another class. So this year, I thought repeatedly to myself that I was really glad I was not leading this school in this year, but that I was getting to learn in this year, because it's been crazy. And so I know that admin has sometimes been kind of running around with their heads cut off because they have been handed decisions and they're reacting to executive orders and all of that. So I'm glad to get to watch and learn. And as I look toward the second half, I'm starting to ask myself, what can I do to make the most of next semester? What elements and experiences should I go after to make sure that I make the most of my time before the building keys get handed to me someday? So that's my reflection, and I've learned a lot and really enjoyed this program. Thanks.